welcome everyone. A very warm good evening to all of you. So, in this open discussion today, we are going to talk about how do we manage other people's expectations in relationships. So, a few new people have joined today. So these calls are open discussions. We keep it interactive. We keep it a two-way communication, and it's not that we are going to do any delivery or anything, but you all are invited and you all are welcome to share your stories, your experiences, how you perceive the situation, what you do, what advice can you give to other people, anything, or any questions or queries you have that you want to receive an answer to. So you can talk about anything. So we keep it interactive. So now coming to
No,
today's.
I just want to add one thing over here that although we are inviting everyone to share their experience and their advice and all, which you are free, but please only share advice that you have applied and it worked and you're happy about it. So please don't share any advice that you've done but you yourself are not happy about. So there's no point promoting or sharing advice just for the sake of it. If you've done it and you got good results out of it, then only please share. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Thank you for adding that, Akarma. That's very important. Now, moving on to today's conversations about handling, managing expectations in relationships, other people's expectations. How do we go about it? Right. So a lot of times we hear from a lot of people saying that, we shouldn't have expectations. We should just, let go of all the expectations and then we can be in happy, healthy relationships. Sab kuch theek ho jayega and everything will be fine agar hum expectations drop kar dein. But if we just simply observe ourselves throughout the day, it's really hard and kind of impossible to drop the expectations because it's just normal, natural, and it's very human to have expectations, right? And we will explore if there's anything wrong with having expectations, because when it comes to other people, we usually do not say that it's wrong to have expectations. We have a more open viewpoint when it comes to others. But a lot of times, a lot of people feel very uncomfortable when they feel that, oh, I expected that, and then it didn't get reciprocated. So we'll talk about that. Now, coming to when other people have expectation with us. So is there anybody in the group who is currently facing this, or who is feeling that, others have too much expectations, or they are just they, or maybe they have an experience around this area? So open to you guys, anything you want to share. So you are invited to kickstart the conversation. So any of you, just you can unmute yourself or raise your hand and you can talk. Yeah, Viresh, please go ahead.
Okay, so just a bit of context, Anamika. So I come from like a sort of conservative South Indian family, and this is more not like a husband-wife sort of expectation. It's more within the family, like what parents expect, or brothers. We are three brothers. What we expect from each other. The problem I have been facing is we are traditionally not taught to communicate our expectations properly. So especially in family, we don't parents don't what feeling or what.
Dear Viresh, actually. So can anybody else confirm?
Yeah, I was not able to hear. I was
Yeah,
just
he's
able to hear
not.
this much that
Okay.
he talking about the brothers'
You are
expectations
breaking
from each other.
Please
Okay.
repeat.
Is it better, Anamika?
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, what I was telling is the problem I am facing is uh, we are not taught to like sort of explicitly tell our expectations with each other. At least my experience has been that. So sometimes it happens that uh, the reactions comes later when the expectations are met and there is like a perceived thing that you had to do that, it's expected. So that is something I'm personally facing a challenge with. So I don't have a solution right now, but yeah, with respect to expectations, that's my challenge right now.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying that you have not learned to learn how to communicate the expectations properly.
Right, right.
Right. And what do you think could be a way to communicate it? How would you like to do it?
So I think this is more like the social this thing, right? Uh, at least in my family and a larger extended family, it was like more like a traditional setup. Like the elders always like are correct, and you're sort of bound to what they're saying. That sort of thing. At least a generation before, and even my parents to an extent. Now that a lot of things have changed, uh, I'm one thing I'm doing is initially we wouldn't have a lot of open discussions with parents around our lives and what we want from it. So I'm like, even though it's uncomfortable at times, like whatever like my needs professionally are, or with my own family, it is there. I'm just trying to bring up those conversation. It is sort of uneasy initially because even parents are not used to like kids being so uh, assertive with what they want and trying to listen also, right? They're not taught to like listen to when kids put it in a assertive way. So but yeah, it's sort of not always uh, comfortable, but that's one step I'm trying to take in that direction.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. And yeah, of course, when we haven't learned how to ask for something, or even to convey to the other person what we expect, that could you do this for me, or
Mm.
could you not do this, and we have not done that ever. So
Mm.
kind of we develop an attitude to just allow the other person to see us as a doormat, because there are many things which they do and which do not impact us. But the problem starts when the things they do or don't do start impacting us, and yet we do not tell them that please do this or please don't do this. So
Mm.
it's not about that you have to define their life, or you have to give them instructions and rules and everything. But this thing comes up and becomes very important, at least when it's time to talk about things which are impacting you and your life, and are disrupting maybe your mental peace, maybe your physical health, maybe your emotions, or it's impacting you. Yeah, and in the beginning, setting boundaries, yes, definitely uncomfortable. But yeah, yeah. So that's this thing. First, becoming aware that what is it that is causing the discomfort, right? And there could be different reasons, because different people have could have their own kind of trauma or wounds or conditionings or patterns attached to this thing.
I don't know. I don't want to generalize, but it's a pattern I've at least seen in South Indian families that uh, there is a implicit understanding that a lot of expectation like that kids are made to have, right? And
Yeah.
and they're not even communicated openly. Like when you grow up, n number of expectations, and suddenly one day they come up and say, "Hey, you didn't do this," which was not even like I don't know like where it's coming from. But yeah, I think it's sort of uh, uneasy at times or difficult to handle at times.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also this thing. I don't know about South India specifically, but good girl and good boy syndrome we all go through,
Mm.
because we have heard so many times that don't be a bad boy, don't be a bad girl, so many times, and
Mhm.
we don't want to induce those feelings again, right? That we did something wrong or we hurt somebody, because nobody wants to be a bad person per se. right?
Yeah.
And there's with setting communicating your expectations as a child. Most of the child are told that um, uh, um, if you are expecting something, that you are not a good girl, not a bad boy, you have to act according to me or do what I say. So basically the parents usually are doing what, that you don't meet your own needs, you meet my needs, and then you are a good boy, and then you
Yeah.
are a good girl.
Yeah.
So, and when we are doing that, it induces that, feeling in that little child in us that, oh God, I am a bad boy. And we don't want to be that. Nobody wants to be a bad person. Yeah, Seema, anything you want to say?
Yeah, uh, growing up in a typical North Punjabi family, the thing that I see as a pattern in my family was this, that there was a difference in raising a boy and there was a difference in raising a girl, and the expectations around a man or a boy was very different from the expectations around a girl. So the girls are not supposed to like um ask anything. They just have to simply just keep doing what the others want. So the biggest expectation they had was that even if you are not comfortable about something, you're not supposed to raise your voice about it. And so because of these expectations from your family, uh, in a young age you don't realize that, then in the teenage, I guess, you start becoming so dependent on others, and because of these faulty expectations you don't realize that you need to have some boundaries, or you can even stop learn to say no. So the biggest thing that I suffered was to whenever I used to say no, there used to be a lot of drama around it, and I used to feel that why? I mean, there were times when I used to get tired of fulfilling the expectations of others, and every time I used to feel that so much of burden on myself, that why I have to, like, there are times like this. So in a healthy normal relationship, it's fine that the two partners will expect from each other, but I never used to understand that why one person has to do more. So as a person, because of this family pattern, you know um, I was raised in a conflicted mindset only, I could say. So not able to understand that is it right to say no, is it wrong. So for a long time, because of that, for 14 years I just kept taking all the abuse, because every time used to go to my family, they had this expectation from me that because we belong to a North India Punjabi reputed family, I have to take it. I mean, this is my responsibility on my shoulders कि family की reputation और expectation है मुझसे. So I have to be in an abusive marriage. So this is what right now I wanted to share कि ये जो expectations आती हैं family की तरफ से, कई बार friends, relatives, husbands, wives, partners, it's sometimes too much burden and we don't know how to say no. So I've learned to say no very late in my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We learn to say no, late only, most of us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Amrita?
I know.
Yeah. You want to say something, Amrita?
uh, these days, lot of expectations happen in every family. I see in my family, was married for 10 years. I couldn't take those yes all the time. I used to be getting expectations from them. I would never say no for anything what they ask, as if I'm only leading the life of what they say. It was a
Mhm.
little uncomfortable to deal in that house and being there in that house. Anyways, I came out of that house, but I am happy now.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Amrita. Yeah. Saurabh, anything you want to add?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've listened couple of people and everyone, and today's session is all about the expectation. Now, my view about the expectation is that expectation is not that bad. What we are actually taking, making it is a villain in our life. Well,
Mhm.
expectation is something which everyone has for everyone for everything. For example, when in 2014 our prime minister was elected for the first time, we were all expecting him to be do something magical reformation in the whole country. But slowly and steadily we have adopted that there is a process for everything, and expectation is something which we all have, no matter how much we deny that no, I don't expect from this person to that person, but we are always going to have as a human being. I That's what I feel, that expectation is always going to be within us. Even if we take an example of animals, just give some chapati to a street dog or street cow, that animal going to expect you to feed him more that chapati, right? So it's all about how you counter that expectation. I've listened to two people, and they have said that family has expect always had some kind of expectation from them, and I believe that they are not wrong on their side. It's about you, that how you counter that thing. It's about you now. Like, if you think that, okay, if my family or that particular person is expecting something from my side, and my willingness allow me to do that thing, then it's good. Just give me a second. Hello. Yeah, so
Yeah.
what I was saying, that there is a limit. No, we know what our comfort zone is. We know till at what certain limit we can express our thing, we can prove ourselves according to the expectation of others. There is always a limit. We should not cross that limit. Once we cross that limit, we start feeling remorse for ourselves. You start feeling that, oh, it's like people start feeling like that it's always me who is doing the things in the I mean, in husbands or wife, or couple relationship, or within the family, within a friendship circle, everywhere. If you start crossing that limit, people will start you will start feeling that, okay, I am the victim here. It's always the me who is doing the things, and people are always expecting me, and I'm always fulfilling their dreams, their demands, sorry. So what my take is that, uh, expectations not bad, and you all do the things till you are comfortable. That's what I will say. And knowingly unknowingly, you always going to have some expectations someday, some for some people at some certain point, for other people also. It's not that you are the only person who are facing the expectation. I hope I'm clear about what I have told you earlier.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's about us, sort of, right? How we respond to the situations. Just that a lot of times, a lot of us come with a lot of accumulation of trauma that we have gone through, wounds that we have collected over a period of time. Because as a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old child, a lot of people were told constantly that you don't deserve it, you cannot get it until you please us, you cannot, you're not worth it, you're worthless, you're this, you're that. And and see, we have we our whole body, mind, there's a lot of memory attached to it, right? And as a child, when we hear these things, when most of our belief system is created, when most of our conditioning is created, we have patterns, and we are developing the patterns, we because before that we were a clean slate, and our parents, people whom we loved and trust and expected that from, right? I'm using the word expected. Every child expects their parents to, love them and listen to them and see them. But not every child is actually, every child actually receives it. And it's not the fault of the parents, because they had their own way of, they saw life differently. So that was the only way probably they knew to handle a child. But the thing is, that's what the child perceived, and that gets stored and accumulated in our system. And it's the only way through, it's the only lens through which we have seen the world, right? So yes, for a lot of us, it takes, a time to come to a point to realize that yes, it's people can have expectations, but I don't have to fulfill the um, unnecessary ones. Yeah, so we a lot of us, like Seema was telling, she learned it late, I learned it late, and a lot of us who have had these kind of experiences in the childhood where we were taught this thing about ourselves, we are the people we actually learn a little late. But thanks for sharing, sort of, that's nice. Yeah, Seema, you want to say something?
Yeah, so when I say that, so to me, I feel having a healthy expectation is a natural need of a human being. So if I am married to somebody, and of course that's my husband, having a healthy expectation from my husband is definitely a good thing. It's like vice versa from his side also, but it's not okay if somebody is taking you for granted, in the sense that they have faulty expectations out of you, that every time you have to fulfill. Even if you are trying to have your boundaries, they don't understand that. So at that time, managing people with any kind of boundaries doesn't work. So yes, having expectations is not at all a bad thing, but then sometimes people way to expect out of you things which you are not in a position to fulfill. So supposing if I am like not well, and I think my husband's unhealthy or unfaulty expectations from me that particular day is to get dressed and go out with him. Maybe he can see that I'm just lying down, not up to my mark. So at that time I feel that थोड़ा सा इनह्यूमन ही हुआ ना ये, मतलब कि that's what I'm trying to say, कि having expectations is not at all bad, but sometimes people cross your boundaries. So very late I learned, because of my experiences, कि specifically in my family I've seen that, why I'm saying about my family, because I'm not saying that the entire world men are like that, but I have seen it in my family that men were more dominant and were allowed to say, express, and do whatever they want to. But when it comes to women, it was expected that they are supposed to be silent. And if they are even raising their voice, so the unhealthy and the unfaulty expectation my family had is going through a abuse and expecting me to remain in that marriage. So that's why I was saying that it's sometimes very unhealthy. As far as respecting them, and because I'm their daughter, is a very healthy expectation, and vice versa. And just because I'm in my healing journey, so I do understand the difference before the healing and after. So when I was not healed, I used to blame my parents a lot, and when I healed, like Anamika shared a particular sentence, that it was not fault of our parents also, because they were brought by their parents in a limited knowledge and whatever they were grown up with, and with that knowledge only they raised us. So now that I understand, but when I was coming from my wounded self, I used to only blame others, but that is silent now in me because I understand the difference between these two. But most of the people, when we start a relationship, it goes very smooth, but sometimes one partner start expecting from the other that everything has to be done by the other person, whether it's adjustment, whether it's terms of responsibility, whether it's taking care of, or even sharing a healthy, loving, caring, supportive kind of a nature. But so to me it feels that expectations is fine, but sometimes people really go to a different tangent altogether. So that is why I was saying that my family had this pattern. That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Seema. And I just, like Viresh gave an example of like extreme South India, and then you gave an example of a Punjabi family. So Akarma and I always keep discussing this. So in South Indian families, what we have observed, that everybody is very serious and everybody is very calm and very serious. So their avoidance strategies, usually what we have observed in South India, is mm, through silence. And in Punjabi families and in North Indian families, not everybody, so there's no point of generalizing it, but most of them, it's like making everything light. अरे कुछ नहीं होता, like if they are telling you to be in a abusive relationship, then also they'll be like, अरे कुछ नहीं होता यार, ये तो होता है, ऐसा तो होता रहता है, ये होता रहता है, वो होता रहता है, सब कुछ होता रहता है.
या एक और चांस दे दो, एक और चांस दे दो, कुछ नहीं
हाँ,
होता, इट्स ओके.
हाँ, ये तो हस्बैंड वाइफ में चल जाता है, ऐसा हो जाता है, वैसा हो जाता है. एंड इन साउथ इंडियन फैमिलीज वी हैव सीन दैट यू डोंट टॉक लाइक दैट, यू डोंट से थिंग्स लाइक दैट. सो दोनों ही अवॉइडेंस के एक्सट्रीम्स हैं. द एक्सप्रेशंस आर डिफरेंट, but they are both avoidance of the actual problem.
I can relate to that, Anamika, totally.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
It's like they make it generalize. Parents make it generalize by saying हमने भी ऐसे ही निभाया और ऐसे ही होता है, ये सब ऐसे ही चलता रहता है. So they make it quite generalized and they are not going in deep into the exactly what is the problem, right? So mostly in Punjabi families, or I have seen in
पंजाबी
North Indian
फैमिली में
families.
हाँ, या तो जनरलाइज हो जाता है कि सबके साथ ही होता है, या फिर दे जस्ट इनवैलिडेटेड बाय सेइंग हमारे साथ तो नहीं होता.
नहीं, हाँ, ये नहीं होता, और मोस्टली ये भी बोलते हैं कि हम ऐसे ही होता है, ये सब ऐसे ही चलता है. सो इट्स क्वाइट नॉर्मल. सो दे मेक अब्यूज क्वाइट नॉर्मल.
Yeah.
Abuse se bhi zyada, like in my marriage, infidelity was there. So when I like, they were aware of the abuse, but infidelity I couldn't take it because it was like a it was the only hope, or you can say thing, that was left in my marriage. और जब मैंने ये break करी news, so their first reaction and statement I still remember, and it shocks me many times, that what they said कि it's okay, ये तो आम बात है यहाँ पे कल्चर में, गुड़गांव में आम बात है that husbands have affair. And I was like, what? And I'm like,
They make everything generalized, ना कि ऐसे ही
yeah,
होता है. It's very common.
yeah. And I was like, what? But I did not
Hmm.
marry to furniture, house, the car, or the money. I married to a man. And if I don't have a man to myself, what's the fun to be in this marriage anyways? So yeah, they make it so, मतलब पहले abuse में कोई problem नहीं थी. Come on, give it chance. हो जाता है बंदा frustrated. I said, ये सही है. Then I stopped thinking about the abuse. Then it went so long. And then this. So I was like, every time everything is very journalized, yeah. I mean, this is
Yeah, that's true. I can relate to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So now actually the question or the topic today is that how to manage. Yes, Megha, you have your hand.
Actually, I just wanted to add to this, like everyone is commenting, like whenever you having such abuse, so the next comment you get in spite of all this, it's like, ऐसा ही होता है, आपको ऐसा ही करना पड़ता है. मतलब it's not like कि ये गलत है, सही है, वो तो टॉपिक डिस्कस ही नहीं होता. It's like ऐसा ही होता है और हमने भी किया है, आपको भी करना पड़ेगा ऐसे.
Yeah, yeah. And that is exactly, and that's not just about South Indian families or Punjabi families. It's throughout the globe, right? So people can only advise other people, even if we say that we love our children and people who are there in our lives so much, but the only advice that people usually give is what they have done, right? And just unfortunately, longevity of the relationship is given more importance than happiness in the relationship, than trust, respect, and all of these qualities in the relationship. And फिर उसके बाद सेम आर्गुमेंट आता है कि ऐसा ही होता है, हमने तो यही किया है, and all that.
It's most importantly, it's not about longevity, what I think. It's more about log kya kahenge, आसपास के लोग क्या कहेंगे. So because of that, they invalidate all the feelings or whatever is going on by saying, generalizing like ऐसे ही होता है. Most is this only fear of people, like log kya kahenge. I mean, I can see that mostly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Seema, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to get back to the topic like Akarma was asking कि अब इसका करना क्या है? ये सब तो पता चल गया कि अब इसका है क्या? So I think the first step that I took just with my experience and saying and sharing with everybody is that the first thing that I wanted to find it out कि मैं ऐसा कर क्यों रही हूँ? मतलब you know why I'm taking the unfaulty and unhealthy expectations of people and why I'm not able to say no. So what helped me was taking my attachment styles, and it helped me a lot because a lot of noise that was around me got silent because I'm a very logical mind person. So logically मुझे शांति मिल गई समझ के कि अच्छा ये इसलिए like logically it justified me कि okay this is happening because of this. Then what I didn't learn was the healthy boundaries and even letting people take me for granted, because genuinely being a sweet person and kind and generous doesn't mean that anybody should take you for granted. So for a very long time I didn't know that I was being taken for granted and what actually for granted meant, or saying no means it's not selfish, it's just standing your ground in a healthy way. And forming boundaries was the difficult one, and then not being guilty about it, because when I started having my boundaries and managing expectations of other people, a lot of people left. And in the beginning it was a little kind of you can say setback, because we are so used to this thing that we need to have people around us to validate everything. But then I realized that the people who only left were who didn't liked it that I have a boundary, I'm saying no to them. And they were the people who actually like to dominate and control. But then I realized it was much peaceful place to be, and it's much better place because yes, I'm liking to have my boundaries and saying no and not letting anybody take me for granted. But at the same time, I have not left my nature, which is basic nature is kind and generous. So, but I think we all can manage that. Um, that is what I wanted to share.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Seema. Yes, so managing other people's expectations. So first, like Seema shared, the first important thing is figuring out that why is it that you're just giving into like literally everything that other people are saying. Why are you saying yes about things that you don't want to do? And you want to say no, but you're still saying yes. You are still overdoing and being over considerate to people that okay, you insulted me and you said this and that to me, and you keep doing that. Like one thing which Seema shared, that we all like to have people in our lives, and unfortunately, like hope is a wonderful amazing thing to have hope in life that something good will happen and all those things, but having hope about people who have not changed for years, and we keep living in this hope about our parents that someday they will validate us, someday our partner will do this for me, someday they are going to change and they are going to see things differently. And in that hope, that little hope that we have, we keep overgiving, being over considerate, we keep trying everything that we can in our capacity to make others happy, and we don't set boundaries, we don't say no, we even stop respecting what choices we have, what needs we have in the relationship, and we just keep focusing too much on fulfilling other people's expectations. And that's where the whole loop starts, and it's very obvious that you're trying so much and doing so much, and it's been 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, for some people 30 years also, and then yet nothing is changing or nothing is transforming. And that's probably where a lot of us get to the point where we realize that, oh, I need to say no, right? I need to set my boundaries, I need to respect myself too. So and the way usually how we are taught, like when we were talking about the childhood patterns, and what we are taught, that if you do this, then I will give this to you. Like our parents tell you, if you do this, then we will give you this, or you will be appreciated. So and that's okay in a limit, in a right way. When done, it's fine. But when it is being done, when they are doing it just to manipulate the child and just to get things done, and just maybe to avoid getting annoyed, and the child is learning constantly that, okay, for me to receive love, I have to do something, right? So we first need to come to a realization, bring an awareness to all of these points, that if somebody loves us, they just love us, right? And yet you will be doing things for them, and they will have expectations, you will also fulfill their expectations. But it's not coming from the space of you're doing something and then you will get something out of the transaction. So yeah, Lalli, you want to say something?
Yes, Anamika.
Yeah, please go ahead.
This is about the topic was managing relationship. There are a few thoughts which have come to my mind, so I'm just expressing those. When parents treat children, sometimes it is not just about knowledge. It is also about their feelings at that time and their outbursts. It could be outbursts, it could be reactions, so many things. So that is one. That's on one side. Another thing is people behave. Uh, Sometimes due to their egos. For example, a spouse can react because of the ego hurting. But if you, or the ego or the noise within them drowns within them, the noise within oneself drowns the sound of sense from the other. For example, uh, if one person is saying okay, there's an emergency that something has to be done immediately, and so one spouse is reacting, you didn't do this, it has to be done. For example, okay, you have a pet, or you have not put it on a leash, and I'm just saying an example. So, and there is a person who this dog uh, doesn't like in a small confined space, and the leash is not put. So the other one spouse has to have reasonable knowledge that it should be done, and already you have briefed, and then this is not done. Then how do you? The reaction would be sudden and immediate, and would not be in the most sensitive, courteous manner as would be done in a normal circumstance. So, in that case, see, we have to take each situation on how to manage relationship or a relation. Then what do we do then? So if you are doing that, then when the ego is hurt, it may not be the best reaction you would get from the, the other spouse. Supposing it is you are reacting, then the spouse may not react in the ideal way. So then to the series of conversations or whatever episodes thereafter, it may not be in a normal way. So many relationships get spoiled on one incident often, and then there is something in psychology as a emotional pyramid, right? So then all that will come into play. So basically, it all has to be in how each one's basic mind setup should be. So it all boils down to each one's basic mind setup at all times. So how do we, ideally, if you are saying we are talking about managing relationship, it should be ideally how, even if in all the ripples that happen all around us, how we should all go back to that stillness of mind at all times, and then we'll know, okay, how much we have deviated from that set point. And it should be unique for each mind, because mind in the end is of the same substance or whatever, it's a ripple in the end.
Lily, first of all, I just wanted to correct you that today's topic is not managing relationships, but it is managing expectations in relationships. So, what
Even if,
you are,
okay, so expectations again, expectation is the main thing. Expectation by itself, I guess it's the issue, I guess, that then we'll only have to do what we can do and not expect anything. Correct?
it's about, see, again, you joined a bit late, and I mentioned in the beginning itself that I asked everyone because I knew at least one person is going to say this, what you just said. I had a feeling that at least one person is going to say this, that let's not just expect. So let me ask you a question. Let's say this is your rule. Let's not expect. Are you happy with that?
No, I am
Are you
expecting.
happy not expecting?
I am expecting actually.
Yeah. So then there is no point saying this. Nah? That's the reason I said let's not share a thought process that we are not happy with. There is no point saying that let's not expect and be, because nobody is ever happy by following this thought process. This is just this kind of statement. Although you are saying it, I'm not putting you under the microscope over here. You said it, but there will be plenty of people who will say this, that it's let's not expect, it's best not to expect, and all that. And I've yet to come across a single human being who says this and he's happy with that or she's happy with that. So then there is no point saying this. So let's drop this and let's look at then what is the way to manage it. If this is not the way to manage it, then what is the way to manage it? So let's discuss more on that way, which is more practical in nature, because this is not practical.
But the expectation itself is like is an ocean, no? Or any kind of expectation. So wouldn't it matter what we are expecting?
Yeah, definitely. It would matter what you're expecting. Expectations have to be feasible also. We cannot have unrealistic expectations. So, uh, I think we have to make some ground rules around any discussion, and where we are saying that we are talking about realistic expectations only. So most of the people are not even able to manage realistic expectations also. So forget about unrealistic expectations, and I'm not even going to go down that track also. So um, so when we talk about it, The hidden word over here is realistic expectations only. So, a husband and wife married to each other have realistic expectations to give each other time, to have understanding of each other, and all those kind of things. So, having intimacy in a relationship and all that. So, these are all realistic expectations. So, I'm not saying that, bring me moon and star and all that. And so, we're not talking about unrealistic expectations anyway. So now the question is how to manage these things. So as somebody already mentioned that it's not wrong to have expectations. We all understand this, that it's only human to have expectations. So where is the problem? The problem is that I have observed is is not expectations but undisclosed expectations. It's the expectations that we have from each other, but we never discussed it. We just expect. So, wife expecting certain things from husband, and husband expecting certain things from wife, but never discussed it. And where these expectations come from is from our own upbringing. So, as a woman growing up as a girl, you would have seen certain things happening in your family, not happening in your family, the way your father and mother are, and all that. And growing up, somewhere we pick these kind of things that one day when I will have my husband or my wife, I will be expecting this or that. But these things were never discussed. So it's just that we have these things in our mind and we expect that the other person is a mind reader and they will just get it because we are with each other for so long, we know each other for so long, or whatever the case is, that the other person also should be on the same page. Whereas the other person may not be on the same, and they may not have thought about it that way because their life is different to your life. So the letdown mostly is when we are not able to communicate the expectations properly. So the first and foremost step when a conflict arises, when this kind of thing arises, is obviously to communicate what the expectation is and make sure that your expectation is what your husband's expectation is as well, or they are able to fulfill it, or if husband's expectation is towards the wife is what she can fulfill and all that, and then having a conversation around it and whatever compromise or negotiation that needs to take place in order to fine tune it to. So we can't just say this is what I expect and that's it, and the other person just this is what I expect and that's it. So it's more about having a conversation. So healthy couples will have a conversation around these things. Sometimes these conversations may not be um, very, what you say, um, civil in nature, so to speak. So झगड़ा भी हो सकता है, ऐसी बात नहीं है कि कॉन्वर्सेशन का मतलब कि आराम से ही होगी. झगड़ा भी हो सकता है, आर्ग्यूमेंट भी हो सकता है, and all that. But they don't shy away from it. It's not running away from a conflict or an argument or anything. It's more about uh, putting the point across. Now, this is an ideal situation. Why most people are not able to do this? ये क्योंकि ये तो ऐसे लगेगा कि हाँ ये तो ऑब्वियस सा है ऐसा, लेकिन क्यों लोग कर नहीं पाते हैं ये चीज? Is because, as Seema mentioned, is our insecure attachment styles where they stop us from that. We have certain fears, we have certain anxieties. Either we are operating from anxious style or avoidant style or fearful style. Whatever style we are operating from, हम बोलना तो चाहते हैं लेकिन बोल नहीं पाते, या बोल भी दिया तो स्टिक नहीं हो पाते. जैसे ही सामने की तरफ से कुछ रिएक्शन या कुछ रेजिस्टेंस आया, वी जस्ट गिव इन. सो it's not about learning how to communicate, because as adults most people over here are 30 plus. So ऐसा नहीं कि यहाँ पे किसी को कम्युनिकेशन करना सिखाना है. You have been communicating. 30 plus years, people are 35, 40, 50 years old. They know how to communicate. Problem is not how to communicate. Problem is why are we not able to communicate? And the reason why I am not able to communicate is because I am fearing something. I'm avoiding something. I'm anxious about something. And I know कि ये मैं बोलूंगा तो ऐसा कुछ हो जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ रिएक्शन आएगा, ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. I'm building all that in my mind. Some of those things could be true. Some of those things could be from what you have observed about the other person. Some of those things may not be true, may not be about the other person, may be about you. That you are fearful, you are not able to put your foot down, और बात करने के बाद you not able to be assertive on that one. तो ये चीजें रिजॉल्व करने के लिए पहले है, क्योंकि स्टेप वन although looks like communication, लेकिन वो स्टेप वन है ही नहीं. कम्युनिकेशन से पहले प्री वर्क चाहिए, क्योंकि unless you have worked on yourself and looked at your insecurities, your fear, your anxieties, your avoidance style, you'll not able to communicate in a healthy way. तो वो राई का पहाड़ ही बनने वाला है. वो झगड़ा आगे ही वो एक्सेंचुएट ही होगा, वो बढ़ेगा ही, और फिर वो होने के बाद फिर अल्टीमेटली वी कंक्लूड कि ये तो होता ही नहीं है, तो सब झगड़ा ही होना है, तो इससे अच्छा छोड़ो, वी वुडंट टॉक एंड ऑल दैट. तो कम्युनिकेशन से पहले हमको खुद को देखना है कि मुझको क्या अफेक्ट कर रहा है, क्यों आई एम नॉट. अगर माई पेरेंट्स, इफ आई एम टेलिंग देम कि ऐसे ऐसे हो रहा है, और वो मेरे को अभी जैसे हम बात करें कि नॉर्थ इंडियन फैमिलीज में उनको बोलो तो दे विल से हाँ सबके साथ ही ऐसे होता है एंड ऑल दैट. सो व्हाई when I know I don't want to buy this, then why I am buying it? Why am I not able to put my foot down and say कि अगर 8 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन में सबके साथ हो रहा है तो आई डोंट रियली केयर, आई कैन बी द ब्लैक शिप बट आई वांट टू बी द ब्लैक शिप. तो मुझे ये लॉजिक नहीं चाहिए, मुझे ये रीजन नहीं चाहिए. तो व्हाई एम आई नॉट एबल टू पुट माय फुट देयर? What is stopping me? What is the fear? What is this anxiety that I'm creating? And then people may have the excuse or the reason कि the parents will make it about their status, about their image in the society and all that. तो अगर आपको इतनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, अगर आप इतने कंसिडरेट हो कि ऐसा है, तो फिर एक्सेप्ट इट. So if you're not able to accept it and be happy with that, then put your foot. And if you're not able to put your foot on it, then that is because you're operating from an insecure attachment style. वो देखने की जरूरत है. Yes, my boy.
Yeah, so maybe people will think कि ये कितना बोलती है, but I can't help it. I want to share it with everybody again while you were telling us and sharing with us how it looks and why we do it. So with an example, I would like to explain it to everybody. So when I was not aware about why I am not able to say no, and why I'm not able to, like, I know this person is like doing over with me. I'm also over pleasing, over explaining, and be guilty. Every time I used to, it's not that I don't know how to put my boundaries. I used to, but because I was operating from a very codependent, pleasing, people pleasing person. So, मैंने अपनी boundary लगा दी, no भी बोल दिया. Look, next time I'm going to that person myself, over explaining and being fearful, used to feel so guilty, and somehow over explaining because मुझे पता ही नहीं चलता था कि मैं क्यों इतना ज्यादा उसको explain कर रही हूँ, because it was coming from my unhealthy attachment style, and it was coming from a pattern that I had in my family where for everything you have to over explain, and then maybe because they will validate my feelings, I used to feel satisfied and used to keep shut. But then I started realizing it's not working like that. It's like I'm the one who's feeling all the time so anxious, so very fearful that I'll be all alone on this earth. Like a karma said, then I started reading some things. So my spirituality life or journey started, and I realized that I'm okay if I have to be a Baba black sheep, but I'll own it. whatever it is, I'll own my all the choices, everything that is going. And even for my parents, if they don't understand, it's okay. Like you have to come to at that point of acceptance that yeah, it's okay, they are like that. Now next what? Am I able to accept it and be happy with that? If I'm not, then I have to change it. I don't have to change them, I have to change myself. So now when I've done these all attachment styles and in my healing journey, I can see a very beautiful difference is this, that earlier I used to go over explaining, used to go back to the people, please them, oh okay, some please ye mujhe chhod ke hi na chala jaye. Fair, why? Because bol to diya, boundary to laga di, but somewhere I was so fearful of being alone. Now I will not name it, but there are men who approach, and there is a guy, he uska avoidant style hai, mujhe pata chal raha hai, because I am updated now. So wo kya hai, hi, hello, good morning, namaste, evening. But whenever he cracks a joke, and he goes to a point where it's like I have to tell him that, listen, you're crossing my boundary. So when I react, this person reacts in double time. And लेकिन अब मुझे कोई डर नहीं है कि वो मुझे छोड़ के चला जाएगा, ओ मेरे को उसको प्लीज करना है. So now I have a smile on my face because I can make a difference कि oh, it's okay, even if this person doesn't talk to me, doesn't matter, because I am operating from my own self, which I want to be, and I'm not fearful. किसको रहना है किसको नहीं रहना वो मैटर ही नहीं करता उसके बाद, क्योंकि अगर मेरे को फ्रेंड्स हैं, I'm there for them. It is not that I'm not going to have expectations from my friend or they will, but we have healthy expectations. We can communicate to each other. So this is what I wanted to share, because this is a difference that I've seen in myself.
Thanks, Seema. Yeah, that is what happens, and in our many calls, I have repeatedly said this thing that this is what is going to happen. So when we are stuck in these kind of toxic relationships, there were gaps in ourselves that were causing us to be in those relationships. And then one day when we don't want to live like that anymore and we decide कि now नहीं मैटर करता है कि सामने वाला चेंज हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है, मुझे ऐसे नहीं रहना है, and we do our own healing. So mostly the case is कि such relationships break. ये reality है, ये fact है, and even when people come to us for coaching work and all that, we say this upfront. We tell them कि only come for coaching if you're ready to accept this consequence. If you're not ready to accept this consequence, don't stop your healing. Just stay like that. क्योंकि ये होना ही है. It is impossible for you to heal and then still feel that kind of level of attraction with that person. वो नहीं होगा. और breaking का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि people will have divorce and all that only. Many couples decide not to take divorce. तो वो रहते हैं, ऐसे ही रहेंगे, वो एक ही छत के नीचे रहेंगे and all that, but they don't have, वो वैसे भी बहुत setup है and all that. पर from a relationship point of view तो we consider कि वो break ही हो गया है ना. मतलब लीगल वे में आपने डिवोर्स नहीं लिया है, सेपरेशन नहीं लिया है, आपका ब्रेकअप नहीं हुआ है, तो उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? जस्ट एज अ रिलेशनशिप इट्स डेड ओनली. So if you are ready for that consequence, कि this is going to happen, then only go down this track. Otherwise, don't go down this track. Just stay like this. क्योंकि ये ऐसे ही वर्क हो सकता है. जो टॉक्सिक रिलेशनशिप थी जिसमें आप उसमें बंधे हुए हो उस इंसान के साथ, अगर बंधे ही रहना चाहते हो, इसी में ही रहना चाहते हो, तो कंटिन्यू. देयर इज नो अदर ऑप्शन कि आप ये भी चाहो कि आप हील भी हो जाओ, रिलेशनशिप भी ब्रेक ना हो, दूसरा इंसान भी चेंज हो जाए. ये तो आइडियल सिचुएशन है. तो हम आइडियल सिचुएशन को गोल नहीं बना सकते, हमें तो प्रैक्टिकल लेके चलना पड़ेगा कि प्रैक्टिकली ये नहीं होता है. प्रैक्टिकली मोस्ट पीपल ब्रेक अप, दे जस्ट लूज दैट रिलेशनशिप. Whether you separate or not, that's your choice. Many people don't because of फाइनेंशियल डिपेंडेंसी, किड्स, दिस दैट, 50 तरह के सबके रीजंस रहते हैं, एंड दैट्स फाइन। हमें उससे कुछ लेना देना नहीं है किसी के इन डिसीजंस पे कि वो क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं, उनको हो जाना चाहिए, दैट्स देयर चॉइस। पर रिलेशनशिप तो नहीं बचता है ना इन दो लोगों के बीच में। वो दो लोग अलग अलग रूम्स में। I have a friend, I've known her for 4 5 years, and she's been, separated from her husband, or the husband sleeps in the room upstairs and she sleeps in the room downstairs, and the kids know, and everything, the whole family knows, and all that. उनका 15 20 साल से चल रहा है। So she decided कि नहीं, मेरे को अलग नहीं होना है। This is, they are okay with this setup, but उनके बीच में कुछ है तो नहीं ना। There is no husband-wife relationship that they have. So, अगर if that brings you peace and happiness, and you are okay with that, then fine. So it's okay. She is fine with that. She is fine with this, with that setup. She is not bugged by that. कि ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए. She's made peace with that arrangement, and that's the way it is. So if you can make peace with that kind of arrangement, knowing कि ये तो होने ही वाला है, and you're okay with that, to live separate life under the same roof, then only do this. Otherwise, don't do this. Otherwise, this is just going to keep repeating like this only. Ki, how do I solve this? How do I solve this? What do I do? What do I do? इसका एक ही आंसर है. This is the only answer. Continue with your healing journey, or don't continue with your healing journey. You cannot heal the other person. You cannot work on their behalf. क्योंकि अगर ऐसा होता ना कि एक इंसान दोनों तरफ से खेल लेता और काम कर लेता ना, तो 90% रिलेशनशिप्स जो आज की डेट में फक्ड अप हैं वो नहीं होती। तो ये इसीलिए है क्योंकि एक रेडी है, एक रेडी नहीं है, एंड दैट इज द रियलिटी ऑफ लाइफ। यस पत्नी, गो है।
Hi, good evening, all. I was listening. It's very nice to hear. Like people have different definitions, so I also get to learn. So for me, expectation from relationships, how to meet them or how not to meet them. Like I feel personally, I have been taught by my so-called uneducated, not seen school ever parents that education and having your some set of values for yourself is what going to serve you wherever or whenever you are in any situation. But then at the same time, I think personally I broke many expectation which was like even from the parents or from the siblings or relatives and social professional. I have broke many expectation, and I have been happy with whatever I wanted to do, even if it is a wrong or right decision. I have lived up to it. I've with no complaint, not blaming anyone. I'm living my life in that manner. But there are two things. One expectation comes from behavioral expectation, like how others want you to behave. So that I'm able to break. But slowly after doing that, like for few years, I feel there is another expectation of what should be your image in front of others. So that image, I think, has changed, and that expectation of my image I'm not being able to break. So if it is from family, if I'm being tagged like you are arrogant or you are immature or you do not your communication is very direct and aggressive, you are only devoted to money and work, and you are very very independent, and or whatever. I mean, you are not like that the woman we wanted you to be. You are not that mother or sister you should have become. So those are fine. I am dealing with it, and I'm happy with whatever. Those tag doesn't bother me as. But when I look at my photo, or sometimes when meeting recordings or on video calls in my profession, during in my office, I feel I don't like that image, that image, like. So but I'm not able to break it. So as if that I'm leaving that expectation of my image, what it should be, after breaking all that. My patent reply was to all the people who always told me, why are you doing this? If you are not supposed to do this, you should study in a women's college, you should study in a women's school, or you should not marry out of your caste, or you should not go and study in a you know in a professional you should continue your academics rather than going for professional. You should not join this company, you should do that. All I have all of the, you should not wear this dress, you should not look that way, you should not talk to him or her. All that I had a patent answer for myself and for others sometimes, like, is it written in the Vedas, or like, where is it written that I cannot do it? So I will do it in as per my choice, and whatever is the consequences, I'm going to face it. But when I look at my image after so many years to different people, I feel my image has changed, which I don't like. I was happy with that self, like physical image I'm talking about, or my way of talking, or reacting, responding to people in dealing with. So I'm the tag I have accumulated while doing things on my own. Those tags, as I feel that
Are you
it is,
no?
yeah,
Are
good
you
to
not?
me how to
Are
break
you
that.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the question is not very clear to me. That the image you are talking about, are you happy with your image or you are not happy with your image?
No, no,
Forget about what others are saying. Are you happy with
no,
who you
no,
are or
I'm
not?
not happy. No, no, I'm
Then
not happy
work on
because
it.
I think I'm not that. So, but when sometimes I feel maybe I have become that. So I never had this dilemma before.
So then, if you already know you have become that and you are not happy with it, then what is stopping you from changing?
I'm saying that I don't think I have become that, but sometimes I doubt that this doubt factor was never there. So now there is a doubt that yes, I may have. Sometimes I feel no, it's wrong. I'm
So
not
then
that.
think about it.
They
That's
are
what
just
I'm
saying
saying.
that sick
Then
of it.
then to why don't you confirm your doubt first with yourself?
Yeah, so that is why I have joined this call. If I can get some things like how do I do that?
So
How do I
confirm
assess?
your doubt with yourself. So if see taking feedback from other people is fine. Sometimes people around us know us more than what we think we know about ourselves. So one is seeking validation from people who you have become. That will never happen because that is their choice whether they want to give you that validation or not. So seeking validation is again an indication of insecure attachment style. But if you already know who you have become, and that is you have worked hard to become that kind of person, and others are also telling you that you have become that, but isn't that a compliment? Why is that a complaint?
Because when I am trying to affirm that what I have done, it's good, it's a compliment, and I'm teaching my son that son also the same things, like, and then but he's breaking rules, and he's saying that you only taught me that there has to be other way, I should do it on as I think right. So then you cannot tell me that I have to do this on that time and this and on that time. So then I try to argue with him, no, certain things you have to be disciplined, and certain things you can have, on your or your free will, because you are only 9 years now. So after give me 2 3 years also more, and then you can do whatever you want, because then you can take the responsibility also. So I do a lot of communication with him. That time I feel like, have I done this wrong all the time? Have I not? Was it okay, or is it okay, or it was
So,
good to be like in the
so you are
like
saying that
never
if
breaking
you
the
do
rule?
it, you are saying that if you do it, it's fine. If he does it, it's not fine because you think that he's only 9 years old.
No, it's okay. If he's doing it, but I'm just thinking that the way I survived alone, will he survive this battle like not doing or just like being holding on to his own set of values, which is probably not yet formed fully. So will we be able to do that? That's some doubts. And have I done right thing so far? I mean, right or wrong, whatever. What was my decision? So will he be also surviving this, or he will also be tagged like a like I have been tagged so far or now? I don't want him to be that people saying that he has been raised a indisciplined, arrogant, or very direct, a straightforward person with his own set of rules and values which he never breaks for others.
So
So is
whose
it
set of
selfish?
values he should be
Is
taking?
it selfish? Is it selfish not to break your values and rules for others?
What do you think?
Will I be raising a selfish child if I teach him that you can have your own set of values and you can be happy with it, you can live with it?
What do you think? Is it selfish to have your own set of values?
Yeah, I'm asking that. Is it okay to not break,
How
never
do
break it?
you? So if someone tells you that, what will be your answer to that question? If someone
Yeah,
says
I'm asking that
you
question
can't have,
now. Yeah, I'm asking that question to me. Maybe sometimes you should break some values for others if it is good for them, or then how you know?
then what is the point of having values?
Okay.
Then why even have them? If you're just going to break, and so what is the difference between what you are telling right now and we are using the word people pleasing and you are saying this? What is the difference? We using the word people pleasing and you are saying breaking the values so that it suits other people and all that. We are saying that, we are saying people pleasing. What is the difference?
Hmm. So okay, I got it. Thanks, Akarma.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say to Kakli, I mean, I'm not sure if I have the right words to convey this, but I'll still say that you're not disliking or liking him or his acts per se, but probably you are disliking your own self, the one that resonates to how he acts. So basically the way you act, and you are saying that you have accepted it and you have survived and everything, but you have not. That's what I feel, because if you had accepted it in yourself, you would have accepted it for him as well. So you're saying that one side you're saying that you have these values and everything, and that was required for your survival, but you have totally not come in alignment with that fact that I accept that this was required for my survival. I have survived it and I have survived it well. So he will also be able to do that. But you don't see yourself as a successful person who has successfully done all of these things, and you are not questioning him, you are questioning your own self in this, right? So you're saying that
Yeah. I am questioning now some part of it because I am now giving him the same thought process. So I'm sure he will have his own thought process very soon. But as of now, he is with me. So so I think knowingly or unknowingly, he's watching me, seeing me, and I'm giving it to him. So that is why I'm cross checking my doubts, like little bit doubts I'm having for sure, Anamika.
yeah. So that's what you need to come in resonance with first. जैसे कि what has happened in the past, you cannot change a lot of things. Plus, you need to reevaluate that, because it can be improvised, right? It can always be. So we are not saying that you have to reject what you have learned. That's good. You have learned like 5 qualities. but now adding like probably 2 or 3 more, so that you can, balance both sides. So you don't have to reject what you have learned. Those are amazing qualities to have values, to have principles, to stand up for yourself, and to take charge of your life and do all of those things. Amazing qualities. But along with that, now you can, start also seeing that, okay, which other areas I can learn, and then I can, once I learn it, once I understand it, then I will, you can then, communicate it better with your son. But right now you have learned only this, and this came with its own consequences. Some were good, some were not good, but it can be improvised, right? So sit with that, contemplate on that, right?
Yeah, thanks, Anamika.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kakali. Great. Now coming to like today's topic of managing other people's expectations. So it's really important that, Akarma used the term that we are talking about realistic expectations. So it's really important that we come to a point where we are able to understand, okay, what is realistic? And with two people, your realistic can differ from the realistic of other person. So maybe you have a different love language and you like spending more quality time, but the other person can have a different love language, maybe let's suppose gifts. So your realistic of spending time together would be different from the realistic of other person who has a completely different love language. People can be different, and that's why communication and, going forward and telling the other person that, okay, this is exactly what I expect. Because when we don't communicate this, the realistic expectation also becomes very unrealistic, right? Because we never said that. So talk about it, and you cannot actually talk about it directly until you have resolved your own, you have figured out that till now why you have not been able to do that, right? So figure out, go on this journey, maybe find out your attachment style, what your love language is, what the other person's love language is, and it's okay to initiate these things. It's absolutely all right in relationship. You are lucky that you got an opportunity to know about these things first. So it's okay to initiate and ask the other person that, what do you exactly expect, right? What can I do for you? What do you want me to do? So that you can also have clarity that what is it that they are expecting, right? Because it's all of us come from the
I
same point. Yes,
I just
Akarma.
wanted to, what Ramika is saying, I just remembered that we talked about attachment styles a lot, but since she brought the topic of love language, so in love language e-learning journey, there is, I think towards the end of the journey, there is a part where we highly recommend that you do it with your partner. So that e-learning journey is about actually doing it with your partner. So like she said that you are fortunate to know about these things and all that. Maybe they don't know any of these things. They don't know this language. They don't know these terminologies and all that. So you do it. You do a part of it, the love language e-learning journey, and then towards the end, it says that how you can now communicate. So it also teaches you that now you know about your love language, how you can teach about it to your partner. And also there is a section which talks about do it with your partner so they know how they can communicate their love language back to you. So it's an important e-learning journey which can be done as a couple also with your partner, provided if they are ready to do it. So you can, encourage them, motivate them to take part in it and see this. So then both of you can align with each other as well to see what each other's love language is and how to communicate those expectations to each other. So let them learn from the system itself rather than you teaching them. Let them learn from the system. You have access to it, give them access to it as well, and let them learn from it and let them see it for themselves that where they stand and how they can communicate it to you. So it can be a very nice bonding activity between two partners as well. Yeah, continue.
Absolutely. Now, another thing that when you feel that people are setting unrealistic expectations, having unrealistic expectations from you, then again it comes back to communicating and telling them very clearly that, okay, why this is unrealistic for you. Like Akali was mentioning, what are your values, what are your principles, and why are you saying no? So learning to say no, setting healthy boundaries, because tons of people will have tons of unrealistic expectation from you, and that's just there, and it's there, right? Because that's how you have operated. You have said yes to everybody throughout your life, and you have been doing so much for everybody that comes up. So it's pretty obvious that they have unrealistic expectations from you. So setting healthy boundaries and learning to communicate that why you cannot just say yes to what they're saying, and standing your ground, and from in a very assertive and loving way communicating to them that no, this is not how it's going to work. And like Akarma was saying that yes, there will be many people. Seema also mentioned from her own experience that how people who actually benefited from her not having any boundaries actually started vanishing from her life, and that's just the consequence. But trust me, it gives you tons of time actually to focus on yourself, your journey, and to focus on people who respect your boundaries, who want to have healthy relationships with you. तो ये एक पॉइंट बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, ब्रिंगिंग दिस अवेयरनेस कि हाँ, दिस इज पॉसिबल, ये कॉन्सिक्वेंस हो सकता है, राइट? एंड टेकिंग दैट एक्शन बिकॉज दिस इज important for you, having that clarity that why it is important for you, because you are a human being and you have 24 hours in a day, a certain set of number of hours, you have a certain amount of energy, and आप दिन के 24 घंटे काम नहीं कर सकते हैं, right? So there are things which you can do, which you will happily do. There are things which you probably do just to make other people happy and just to gain something from them. So just become more aware that what are those activities, why you're doing that. So right now, whenever you observe yourself, you're getting in that loop and you're doing all those things and you're meeting unrealistic expectation of people, it's time that you just slip back, take a pause, and then really contemplate ki, is this necessary? Iske, what can I do differently, instead of just going ahead saying yes and just doing everything. And इतनी आदत हो जाती है ना, they become so habitual of saying yes, so habitual, right? कि हमें कई बार पता भी नहीं चलता कि किसी ने कुछ बोला, will you help me? हाँ, yes, I will help you. So habitual, right? So this habit needs to be brought into attention, and slowly then gradually you can learn that you don't have to burn yourself out like this. So that's about realistic expectations, unrealistic expectations. And in healthy relationship, there's always a way out. Chahe wo friendship ho, with parents ho, with partners ho, if the relationship is healthy, there is a way out. There is ought to be a way out, right? Because both the people are willing to, do something about it. Thoda koi kar lega, thoda koi kar lega. And even if sometimes there's no way out, they know ki, acha, in this specific thing, there's no way out. So again, let's figure out something else where both of us can create a win-win. So that's that from my side. Anything anybody wants to add?
I would like to know one thing from you. Mostly, sometimes it's like managing people expectations in relationships, but the relationships can be with the friends also, and mostly with the family. So I sometimes like I've started being observant is like most of the times men are not taught, how to express themselves in a way where I think they start being guilty, maybe, in a way that they feel obliged to do, to fulfill the expectations of everyone, and not, coming upfront and talking about it, that they too have some expectations, and they maybe in that particular way suppress their emotions. And when they get married, either they are aggressive or they only speak up maybe when there is an outburst. In the sense they don't know how generally to communicate it to the person, or maybe to put across, this is what I can fulfill and this is what I cannot. Same goes for women also. So I would like to know from you and Akarma that how in a family, not about the man to women relationship, but in a family, how a man and a woman both, without, some people struggle with being guilty, if they think that they will say no to their sibling or their parents, it's a big guilt for them. Whereas, they will just keep doing things because they don't want to be feeling out of the family, or feeling being in an awkward position where they are not ready to be a baba black sheep. So many people are not ready for their journey, but just to even to start building their how to manage just simply their expectations in the family members from the parents and not feel guilty at the same time, so that at least they can start knowing ki hum ye karke, definitely the answer would be for the longer run would be healing themselves and taking close look at themselves or doing a work on themselves. But still like a normal, जैसे कि अभी हमारा ग्रुप है तो इसमें अगर किसी को जानना है या समझना है, जैसे मुझे काफी कई बार many people ask me like, but how, like I am not done the work, I'm not this, I'm not in a space to do, but understand there are times I want to say no but I feel guilty. So Akarma and Namika, I want to know okay, how people can just not be feel guilty.
जिन सी ये जो हम बातें कर रहे हैं ये सिर्फ तभी एप्लीकेबल हैं when one person is at least aware about these things. So whatever we are talking is not applicable to general public who doesn't know anything about this. So they will continue to live the way they are living. As simple as that. There is no way to break
Okay.
this. Between two people doesn't matter कि किस टाइप की रिलेशनशिप है, हस्बैंड वाइफ है, ब्रदर सिस्टर है, सिस्टर सिस्टर है, ब्रदर ब्रदर है, डजंट मैटर ऑल दैट. एक को तो पता होना चाहिए ना. अगर दोनों में से कोई भी अवेयर ही नहीं है इन सब चीजों के बारे में तो वो तो वैसे ही चलती रहेगी, उनकी लाइफ तो जैसे चल रही है. तो नथिंग इज गोइंग टू हैपन. बट लेट्स से वी कैन ओनली टॉक अबाउट people in our group, in our community who are now aware of these things. So when you are aware and if you have to initiate a chat with your brother or your father or with a friend, male friend or anything, and you know ki they are not used to speaking up and all that, so just be more compassionate and patient with them and provide that space and give them that confidence ki they can open up in front of you, uh, and and just keep reminding them. So शायद एक बार में दो बार में ना हो क्योंकि उनको आदत नहीं है बात करने की. तो just have to show some patience and let them open up. And once you will see that once they get in the habit of opening up in front of you and they feel that they can share whatever they want to and that information is not getting used against them for anything or you're not judging them for the way they are and all that, they will open up. Next time they will be able to speak fluently as well. Just उनको कभी किसी ने दिया ही नहीं है वो स्पेस. और जो दो लोगों के बीच में कॉन्वर्सेशन हो रही है उन दोनों को इस चीज की अवेयरनेस ही नहीं है तो वैसे ही चलती रहेगी लाइफ. देयर इज नो डिफरेंस. दैट इज व्हाई वी कीप सेइंग all the time in this call that at least when you all are fortunate to know about these things, so you start bringing that change in your family circle. You start encouraging people to open up, talk and all that, but don't push it. Just keep reminding them that they can talk to you and it's okay if whatever they feel they can talk to you and all that. So maybe don't talk in front of everyone, just talk one on one with them and just let them open up with you. So have some patience around it because उन लोगों को नहीं पता है इन सब चीजों के बारे में, तो वो करना ही पड़ेगा. और जो दो लोगों को नहीं पता तो नहीं पता, वो तो फिर वैसी टॉक्सिक रिलेशनशिप जो पूरी दुनिया में चल रही है तो चलती ही रहेगी. Without this awareness, what change can we expect? Nothing.
Yeah.
One real life story I'll share with you, Seema. ये मतलब this is very relatable to the question that you have asked. तो पहली चीज तो ये एक है कि आप अगर अवेयर हो भी जाते हो, यू ग्रो, यू लर्न एंड एवरीथिंग, सो ये भी देखना जरूरी है वेदर द नेक्स्ट पर्सन इज एट द रिसेप्टिव एंड, और उनको मतलब रिसीव भी करेंगे क्या वो इन्फॉर्मेशन, राइट? तो हाँ, यू कैन ट्राई ऑफ कोर्स 3 to 5 10 times because you love them, you're patient, you're compassionate, but if they have made peace with कि नहीं मेरा तो ऐसा ही है, I am going to go with people pleasing and bound without any boundaries, and I like becoming a doormat because this is how I am, we cannot force it, right? But मेरे साथ what happened with me, I consider myself so lucky in this. My ex-husband, who's also my best friend and one of the sweetest people I know, तो I'll not say कि वो बहुत ही मतलब ऐसा healthy और romantic and kind of relationship था, but there was a very good friendship in that relationship. And before I got married, boundary word शायद मुझे पता होगा, but वो word का meaning क्या होता है ना, मुझे शायद ही कोई अंदाजा भी था, right? When I got married, and he was the person who saw that I would just say yes, ठीक है, मेरा फैमिली फंक्शंस में फैमिली में सब फोर्स कर रहे हैं, मन भी नहीं है जाने का, ठीक है, मुझे नहीं जाना है, आई एम जस्ट क्रिबिंग अबाउट इट एट होम, कंप्लेनिंग कि यार क्यों करते हैं ये लोग, ये करते हैं, मुझे नहीं जाना, ये वो, and I would still say yes. फिर he observed it once, twice, 5 times, and he kept observing that behavior for some time in me, that I have such, hard time setting boundaries. I'm such a people pleaser. I'll always be like sugar candy to everybody. And he is a person who is like so blunt and straightforward and assertive कि भाई मेरे को नहीं करना है, जा तू, मेरे को नहीं करना है तो मैं नहीं करूंगा. And the best thing he did was how he started pointing out to me कि are you even aware that you're doing this? And are you even aware of the consequences that are going to be there because of you doing this in the long run? कि तुम अगर मेरी मम्मी को या मेरे पापा को ये फॉल्टी एक्सपेक्टेशन उनकी फुलफिल करती रहोगी कि तुम एक दिन उनके पैर दबाओगी, उनके घर जाके खाना बनाओगी, ये करोगी, वो करोगी, so what are they going to expect from you? The same thing. And फिर तुम अभी इतना प्लीज कर रही हो शादी के 1-2 साल में, and then you would stop doing it, and then what would happen? So he told me very clearly कि this is what you're doing and इसका ये consequence होगा. And then we talked about it, and it was hard for me to learn to say no, and it took me almost 6-7 months कि एक बार हम फैमिली गैदरिंग में बैठे हुए थे, my in-laws and my husband and me, and we were eating, so it's a proper Guju family lunch happening, and my mother-in-law was telling me that this is what I expect from you because मैंने अपनी सासू माँ के पैर दबाए हैं, तो मैं भी चाहती हूँ कि मेरी बहू मेरे पैर दबाए और घर में खाना बनाए और ये सब करे. And that was the time when I was like, Mama, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, but it's not gonna happen. And she started crying. And it was, yes, uncomfortable, painful, but that was so liberating because I knew I was not gonna do that. मुझे ना कोई interest है उनके घर में खाना बनाने का, ना ही किसी के पैर दबाने का, ना ही अच्छी बहू बनने का. I was not interested. And it was so liberating at that point of time. And he truly actually empowered me and led me to a point to actually practice this. And he would just, nudge me. Abhi no bolna hai. Dekho tumko agar man nahi hai na, tum no bolo. And it was hard for me. But because there was such, great love and friendship between us, I would just trust him and I would just follow through the process. And I would say no. Bhale hi kitni bhi hesitation ho, कुछ भी हो, I would say no. नहीं, आज नहीं आ सकते, आज ये नहीं कर सकते. We don't want to go to the family function. Yeah, and it was uncomfortable, but yeah, so I was lucky to get a partner like that, and he could do that with me because I was inspired seeing him doing that. So this is not just a lesson to be learned. He didn't preach me because he read a book. He taught me something which I saw him doing every single day. So that's the thing that before we, even communicate it to other people, it's important that, we apply and practice and understand the importance of these things. That's
Um,
the
one one story I want to share based on what Seema asked about other people. So अभी कुछ दिन पहले I was telling Anamika कि so I am in this business. I am doing this for so long and all that. So I know all these things and everything. Yet मेरे फादर के साथ कभी मेरी फोन कॉल ना 40 सेकंड से ज्यादा नहीं हुई. That is the most that I have ever had a chat with him. 40 seconds. That's I always timed it. So 30 seconds, 40 seconds, ये average रहा है. And for last 2.5 years, I have been kind of, you know, creating that space for him to open up and all that. तो मुझे 2-2.5 साल लग गए. अभी लास्ट 3-4 कॉल्स जो हुई हैं, they have gone up to 5 minutes. So that's the personal best so far. He, it has taken me 2.5 years to break that nut. So that's what I was talking about, is being patient with people who are not used to this and all that, because they're not. So मुझे 2.5 साल लग गए ये करने में. अभी अभी 5-5.5 मिनट की कॉल होती है मेरी उनके साथ.
Yeah, and another example from my life about this would be my mom. So my mom cares about what people think more than anything else in the world. So I have been trying to communicate this to her, but she's completely at peace with it. कि मतलब उन्होंने जैसे मान ही लिया है कि नहीं, यही है, मतलब this is the truth of life. ऐसे ही लाइफ चलती है and you have to do all of these things to सो उनके लिए उनको क्लैरिटी है कि उनके लिए लोग उनके बारे में कैसा सोचते हैं, ये ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. So I was like, okay, fine. If you want to keep thinking like that, keep thinking like that, right? And then she bases all her actions based on that कि लोग क्या सोचते हैं. And she is happy with it because she feels utmost amount of happiness when people come and tell her आप कितने ये हो, वो हो, अच्छे हो. हाँ, that's all at a surface level, but like, who are we to judge anybody's journey? So with such kind of people, that's that. In many things she has grown to. So people have different journeys and our timelines are very different.
I would really appreciate you both because you keep sharing your personal stuff, and it takes a lot of courage to, whether even if you are mentors, time and again you are sharing this so that people are benefited. And I would really wish that people start talking more, because every time you ask a question, it somewhere leads you to some place. I mean, uh, at least I feel that if you are asking questions, you are understanding yourself and coming at this platform. It's all right, you can be silent also, but then speaking up matters, because it helps you understand why I am having this question. So I feel more people should share. I mean, they should come up, whether, and should not feel that, oh, what the others will feel, because this is such a safe place. Anybody can open up. And I see so many people in Amika and Akarma struggling through to practice self love. And it looks very simple word, but when it comes to practicing, many people are not able to do it. And maybe in the next calls we can do something related to it.
Yeah, absolutely, Seema. Yeah, Payal, you want to say something?
Yeah, hi everyone. I've been on the call from the beginning itself, and I've been listening, but I really don't know what to ask or what to say. Like, I've been observing myself, I've become very silent. So there's no question in my mind. So that is also what I was contemplating. Maybe I've given up on relationships. I don't know. Like, I asked a question 2 days before about people judging you. So I also don't know that what I want to ask, or like I've become very silent. That is what I've been observing. So that is it something that is of concern, or how should I go about it?
You have become silent because you feel like that you have given up or you have all the answers. No, you think कि इसमें तो कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ के भी कुछ होने वाला तो है. Is it like that? What is the reason? What do you think is the
Because time and again I have observed that you do get disappointed in relationships. So वही that you're saying कि सुनकर भी क्या हो जाएगा, या things will be like this, or sometimes I really
नहीं
don't
but
know that
नहीं एक
what's
मिनट
going
एक मिनट.
on.
लेकिन क्वेश्चन ये है कि when you make this statement time and again you get disappointed in relationship. Question is why time and again you are getting disappointed in relationship? Is it
Maybe
again
my
about
expectation from,
expectations? Yeah, expectations from other people that you are not able to fulfill, your expectations they are not able to fulfill, you are not able to communicate, they are not able to communicate. क्या reason?
yeah, they are not able to fulfill my expectations, and
Okay,
vice versa also.
right. So then is it a problem in your expectation? अगर ये बार बार हो रहा है, you are saying कि बार बार ऐसा हो रहा है, so is it that your expectations are unrealistic?
That's what I think I need to contemplate or think on, that are my
Or is your
expectations.
expectation from the wrong person? Well, I mean, they could be right person in the sense that in terms of the title of the relationship, but are they capable of it?
See, you expect only from the people who are important in your life. You won't expect anything from a stranger. So I think they are capable,
Hmm.
but maybe they choose not to um, understand.
And why is that? Why are they choosing not to understand?
That's a question. Maybe everybody has their own mindset or their own way of thinking or their own challenges in life. So maybe I need
ये
to
तो
lower my
ये तो थोड़ा
expectation.
सा ये तो हाँ ये तो थोड़ा ज्ञानदारी वाला आंसर हो गया कि ऐसा है वो तो है ही.
Yeah.
ये तो है ही. इसमें क्या डिस्कशन करना है? ये तो है ही. एवरीवन हैज देयर ओन माइंड, एवरीवन हैज देयर ओन वे ऑफ थिंकिंग एंड ऑल दैट. ये तो है ही. पर यू आर सेइंग कि हम अपने रिलेटिव से ही तो एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे, स्ट्रेंजर से तो नहीं करेंगे. अगर आप ऐसा सोच रहे हो तो वो भी तो ऐसा ही सोच रहे होंगे, तो पूरी दुनिया ही तो ऐसा सोचती है, तो
Yeah,
इसमें तो कोई डिफरेंस नहीं. तो यू आर सेइंग
yeah,
एवरीवन हैव देयर ओन माइंड एंड येट यू टॉक टू एवरीवन एंड एवरीवन इज गोइंग टू से द सेम थिंग. तो फिर हाउ इज दैट डिफरेंट?
yeah, you are right. That's what I said in the beginning, ना कि like I go very blank कि मुझे क्या, what I want to know, what I want to ask.
पर उससे पहले आपको ये देखना है ना कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पे है. सॉल्यूशन के लिए क्वेश्चन क्या पूछना है वो एक अलग बात है, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है? So your statement you started by saying that I am getting disappointed in relationship constantly. Why?
Because people, I feel that people don't understand me. I might be doing a lot of things for them, but I'm always being taken for granted.
हाँ.
Yeah, I don't project. I am basically a happy person. Yeah, I don't share my problems or my struggles, so they think यार इसको क्या problem है life में. That types.
Okay.
So, mm,
तो फिर व्हाट इज इट दैट यू एक्सपेक्ट? आप अगर किसी से प्रॉब्लम शेयर नहीं करोगे और अगर हैप्पी फेस उनके सामने रखोगे और वो आपको देख के ये एज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि यू आर अ हैप्पी पर्सन, बट यू एक्चुअली वांट देम टू रीड योर माइंड टू से नहीं, मेरे पास भी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं,
you're
so then
very
what is stopping you
close.
from being vulnerable?
See, your very immediate family or siblings, so they know my struggles and everything. And but
It doesn't matter, Payal, it doesn't matter, they know. आप पहले अपनी सेंटेंस पे ध्यान, they
so
know
like,
that you have problem, but आप अगर एक ऐसा एक ब्रेव फेस और हैप्पी फेस पुट कर रहे हो, तो उनको पता है आपको प्रॉब्लम है, बट उनको ये भी दिख रहा है कि यू गॉट इट कवर्ड, तो फिर कुछ करने के लिए तो है ही नहीं.
okay,
So my question is कि are you asking for help?
no, I don't like to ask for help.
So there is the problem. Na? So you don't want to ask for help, but you want them to mind read.
Hmm.
बट वो कोई कैसे सी कैसे करेंगे वो? अगर अगर मेरे सामने कोई खुश इंसान है और अंदर से दुखी है बट मेरे को खुश दिखा रहा है, तो इसका मतलब कि
हाँ,
उसको वही दिखाना है ना. तो मतलब मैं जाके क्या उसका बबल बस करूँ और बोलूं नहीं तुम खुश नहीं हो, तुम्हें तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम है और ये है वो है? व्हाई वुड आई डू दैट?
yeah, right.
इसका मतलब तो ये है ना कि वो वही दिखाना चाह रहा है ना. तो प्रॉब्लम सबकी लाइफ में है, तो अगर आप
Hmm.
नहीं दिखाना चाह रहे हो, तो why would they see it then? Then why would you expect them to see and come forth and do something that you're not asking? क्योंकि फिर उनको लगेगा ना कि आप हेल्प तो मांग नहीं रहे हो, वो आएंगे तो उनको like you could probably feel offended by that.
Yeah,
तो ये डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन तो आप ही क्रिएट कर रहे हो ना.
right. Hmm. So then, I need to change my
आपको
perspective
हेल्प
on.
चाहिए तो मांगो, नहीं हेल्प चाहिए तो नहीं मांगो. इफ यू फील कि यू आर गुड, यू आर हैप्पी, यू गॉट एवरीथिंग सॉर्टेड, दैट्स गुड. पर प्रिटेंशन करना जब हम ड्रॉप करते हैं ना कि ये जो है वो है, अगर खुश हो तो खुश हो, नहीं खुश हो तो नहीं खुश हो, तो बताओ नहीं खुश हूँ, ये चीज की प्रॉब्लम है, वो है. तो यू डोंट थिंक कि अगर आप ये करोगे तो आपके जो क्लोज लोग हैं वो आपके लिए रहेंगे सपोर्ट के लिए, हेल्प के लिए एंड ऑल दैट?
Yeah, I know कि they will never, like, I have always been supported. That is
हाँ
there.
तो फिर ये सेंटेंस मत यूज करो, ये ड्रॉप कर दो ये सेंटेंस यूज करना कि आई बीन डिसअपॉइंटेड इन रिलेशनशिप, बिकॉज यू आर एक्चुअली मेकिंग इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर द अदर पर्सन, बिकॉज यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग देम टू रीड योर माइंड बाय सेइंग तुम तो जानते हो कि मेरी लाइफ में तो ये प्रॉब्लम है. माई डैड यूज टू डू दिस.
हाँ,
तभी मैं बोल रहा हूँ मेरे को 2.5 साल लगे. माई डैड यूज टू डू दिस कि he will put up a brave face but then he will expect कि but you would know. तो मैंने ये छोड़ दिया, मैंने उनको उस पॉइंट पर लाके छोड़ा है कि नहीं जब तक आप बोलोगे नहीं ना तब तक आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प. तो उनको 2.5 साल लगे इस पॉइंट पे आने.
okay.
हम्म.
So if
I had
this
to
is
I had to set very strong boundary with him to say कि नहीं मैं नहीं रीड करने वाला हूँ आपका माइंड. आई एम नॉट. If you are putting up a face in front of me to say everything is fine, then I'm going to go with that because you want me to believe that. So why would I burst your bubble? You want me to believe that everything is fine, so I am happy. So you don't want me to get affected by that. So then I'm not getting affected by that. But then if I'm not getting affected, then he is feeling bad. Ki why I'm not getting affected? And I'm saying, please pick a side. Do you want me to get affected or you don't want me to get affected? He said, I don't want you to get affected. I said, then whatever you are doing is good. It's working. Keep doing it. But then it's bothering him also. So it took him 2.5 years to come to terms with that no, it is bothering me. So I want to talk about it. I said, then talk.
So where do you think, like, if I'm not sharing or if I'm not asking for help, then where does the problem lies, and how do I need to address it?
The first and foremost is why you are not able to do that. So ऐसी क्या हेजिटेशन है आपको दूसरों के सामने अपनी प्रॉब्लम शेयर, दूसरों का मतलब मैं क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर्स की बात कर रहा हूँ, नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट स्ट्रेंजर्स।
Yeah.
बट जिन लोगों के सामने आपको मन है बात करने का, जो नहीं कर पा रहे हो, दैट इज व्हाट यू नीड टू लुक इनटू। तो अगेन एंड अगेन वी कीप गोइंग बैक टू द अटैचमेंट स्टाइल थ्योरी।
Yeah.
So is it a fearful avoidance strategy, the avoidance strategy, anxious strategy? What is the strategy that is in play? वो तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा खुद कि क्या है। So the e-learning journey is there. We do the Unstuck Yourself workshop as well. You can join that one also. So देखना तो पड़ेगा ना आपको इस चीज को।
Yeah, right.
कि क्या स्टॉप कर रहा है आपको। ये चाह रहे हो आप कि ऐसा हो, लेकिन स्टॉप क्या कर रहा है आपको। आर यू अफ्रेड कि लोग आपको वीक समझेंगे, आर यू अफ्रेड कि लोग ऐसा समझेंगे, जो भी है। व्हाट इज द फियर, यू हैव बिल्ट अ सर्टेन इमेज, और आपको ऐसे लगता है कि ये तो मेरी इमेज के बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट है, क्योंकि इतने साल मैंने ये इमेज बनाई है, अब अचानक से ऐसे बोलूंगी तो क्या लगेगा, and all that. So you have to look into it कि आपको रोक क्या रहा है ये करने से। ये कैसे करना है ये इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, क्योंकि जिस दिन आपने वो पत्थर हटा दिया ना उस ब्लॉक के आगे से, वो होना अपने आप शुरू हो जाएगा। सो इसलिए करने के ऊपर ध्यान मत दो, ब्लॉक के ऊपर ध्यान दो कि पत्थर कौन सा पड़ा हुआ है। जैसे ही पत्थर हटाओगे पानी अपने आप फ्लो होने लगता है। पानी को फ्लो करना सिखाने की जरूरत नहीं होती है, पत्थर हटाने की जरूरत।
Okay. Got it.
तो इसलिए my suggestion is कि remove your focus on how to do it, put your focus on why you're not doing it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. One more thing I'll share with you, Payal, so that you can, if you want to contemplate on this point. So you have suppressed and you're operating from both the sides of toxic masculine and toxic feminine, wounded sides. How is that on one side you're trying too hard, right? And you're trying too hard is visible in you pretending that you're such a happy person and you're such a nice person and everything. But on the other side, the wounded feminine side of you feels victimized. Now, the thing is, both of these are, these happen because we suppress the natural masculine and natural feminine qualities. So the problem actually is कि पहली चीज तो जब आपने ये when you stopped asking, when you people are taking you for granted and you don't know how to set boundaries, how to ask, how to communicate, you have suppressed the masculine. And when you don't know how to receive, so even if you're saying that you want to receive that, but trust me, if anybody comes and gives it to you, तो पता है आपको क्या फील होगा, ये तो मुझे बेचारी समझ रहे हैं, मैं बेचारी नहीं फील करना चाहती, आई एम नॉट द बेचारी। एंड अगेन द मैस्कुलिन विल कम अप एंड शील्ड इट कि नहीं मैं बेचारी नहीं हूं, आई एम दैट हैप्पी पर्सन। तो रिसीविंग चैनल इज ब्लॉक्ड। तो आपको जैसे कि अटैचमेंट स्टाइल्स का कर्मा ने बताया, ये अवेयरनेस लानी पड़ेगी। प्लस ऑल्सो यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन ओपनिंग अप योर रिसीविंग चैनल्स कि इफ यू आर सेइंग दैट यू वांट टू बी लव्ड एंड रिसीव ऑल दैट, and even if, let's suppose, by God's grace, tomorrow somebody shows up and somebody from your family exactly does what you want, the question is, are you even ready for it?
Okay.
So yeah, because जब हमारे receiving channels block हो जाते हैं ना, तो हम we start feeling very obligated, we start feeling very unworthy and undeserving. तो हमको कोई अगर प्यार कर भी लेता है ना, सपोर्ट करता भी है, तो वी स्टार्ट फीलिंग कि व्हाट डू आई डू।
हाँ, और मुझे लगता है कि शायद हो सकता है, मे बी रॉन्ग हो हियर, बट शायद आपकी फैमिली में किसी ने ट्राई किया भी होगा ऐसे करने का, और अगर आपने वो रिसीव नहीं किया तो देन दे बैक ऑफ। कि वो अब लाइक शी सेइंग कि अगर आप रिसीव नहीं कर पा रहे हो, आपको वही इमेज ही पुट करनी है, तो यू विल फील कि नहीं, दे आर थिंकिंग ऑफ मी लाइक वीक एंड ऑल दैट। तो किसी ने ट्राई किया भी होगा तो आप रिसीव नहीं कर पाओगे, तो फिर वो क्यों दोबारा करेंगे, वो छोड़ देंगे।
That's true. And you're right that I don't like receiving because pata nahi, when somebody offers me something, I get very offended ki why do you want to give me a gift, or I don't
एग्जैक्टली
like.
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली इस अवेयरनेस के ऊपर ना, इसको पकड़ के बैठो, इस अवेयरनेस को ना बहुत अच्छी तरह से पकड़ के बैठो, क्योंकि ये रूट कॉज है।
But
लेट दिस
can
क्रिएट
that
अर्जेंसी, लेट दिस
but
क्रिएट अर्जेंसी,
hmm,
व्हाट आई मीन, कि इसको पकड़ के बैठो कि मैं रिसीव नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, और रिसीव नहीं कर पाने की वजह से ये सब लैक जो आप एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हो, तो इसकी अर्जेंसी को ना बिल्ड होने दो। ये अर्जेंसी बिल्ड होगी ना थोड़े टाइम में, तो आपको वो मोटिवेट करेगी कि उठ के कुछ एक्शन लेना है।
but can this also be related to self-respect, that not taking anything
नहीं,
from anybody,
नहीं, इट्स नॉथिंग टू डू विद सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट,
like
देयर इज
material things,
नथिंग।
like
नहीं। अच्छा, अब मेरे को एक बात बताओ, चलो ठीक है, लेट्स गो विद योर थ्योरी, लेट्स से इट इज अबाउट सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट, ठीक है, तो लेट्स इवैल्यूएट दिस थ्योरी। इफ यू बिलीव दिस इज अबाउट सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट, डू यू हेल्प पीपल?
yeah, I do.
Why do you help people? Why do you hammer on their self-respect? Agar it
See,
is
like
about self-respect for you, so it is about self-respect for them also, ना? तो फिर
yeah,
आपको क्या राइट मिलता है ये दूसरों के साथ करने का? उनकी क्यों ब्लो कर रहे हो सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट?
okay. Mm. Like I have no problems asking my parents. And my father is no more. Like अपनी मदर से मुझे लगता है मैं हाँ हक से कुछ भी मांग सकती हूँ, या but with anybody else, it can be anybody, I feel नहीं, and then फिर वो मुझे लगता है कि maybe then I'll be pressurized, or not pressurized, but then I'll be under some kind of obligation
टू रिटर्न बैक।
if I return back in material terms, or
हाँ,
somewhere,
हाँ,
or in
this
some
is
other way.
this is this is classic example of toxic feminine energy, and again, you are not the only one. We come across so many women who are stuck in this loop, जिसकी वजह से ही हमने शक्ति एलिमेंट रिट्रीट तैयार की है। यू विल नॉट बिलीव कि ये कितना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है। दिस इज नॉट जस्ट यू, दिस इज अ वेरी बिग प्रॉब्लम, कि स्पेशली फॉर वुमेन, कि इतना इतना लो सेल्फ वर्थ होता है कि किसी ने अगर आपके लिए एक चीज कर दी ना, तो कैसे मैं उनके लिए 10 कर दूं।
Yeah,
हाँ,
that means you don't
क्योंकि ऐसे
feel
लगता
you're
है कि
worthy.
हाँ, तो फील की मतलब जैसे कि भर भर के वापस से करके यू जस्ट रिटर्न द फेवर, कि जितनी जल्दी से मैं ये रिटर्न करूं फेवर, मुझे शांति मिलेगी। फील सो ऑब्लिगेटेड टू डू दैट, एंड so many women suffer with this problem, and this is a toxic feminine energy,
I never knew
जिसमें
these things
रिसीविंग
about
एकदम
myself. This
ब्लॉक्ड है।
is something, and I'm so grateful to this group that I'm able to discover all these things. To you and Anamika.
इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि इस अवेयरनेस को पकड़ के रखो, और इसके ऊपर और ज्यादा सोचो। तो अगर आपको कॉन्टेम्पलेट करना है, यू वर सेइंग कि आई वांट टू कॉन्टेम्पलेट, देन कॉन्टेम्पलेट ऑन दिस पॉइंट। दिस इज द पॉइंटर फॉर कॉन्टेम्पलेशन। बाकी सारी चीजों को छोड़, अभी एनालिसिस करने की जरूरत नहीं है इस पर और ज्यादा। दिस इज द रूट ऑफ ऑल द प्रॉब्लम। अब इस पे ध्यान लाओ अपना, कि how this is affecting you in your life. So not able to receive gracefully,
हम्म
हमें बचपन से सिखाया जाता है कि यू डू गुड कर्म, दूसरों की हेल्प करो, ये करो वो करो, ये तो हेल्प करने के लिए एक गिवर और एक रिसीवर का होना तो जरूरी है ना।
या
आप तो गिव करने के लिए तैयार हो तो कोई रिसीवर ही नहीं है अगर, तो फिर हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू गिव? तो अगर आप रिसीविंग को छोटा देख रहे हो तो इसका मतलब कि आप तो रिसीवर को भी छोटा ही देख रहे हो फिर। तो मतलब गिविंग में तो आप बड़े हो गए फिर।
हाँ ओके
हाँ, तो ये कैसा, ये किस टाइप का डोनेशन या किस टाइप का गुड कर्मा हुआ, जहाँ पे आपने तो ऑलरेडी डिसाइड कर लिया कि मैं बड़ी हूँ और जो रिसीव करने वाला वो तो छोटा है।
हम्म
हाउ इज दैट गुड कर्मा? वो गुड कर्मा में भी तो बैड इंटेंशन इंक्लूडेड है।
ओके
जब तक
Yes, sir.
रिसीवर को इक्वल नहीं देखोगे ना, जब तक
हाँ
रिसीवर को इक्वल नहीं देख पाओगे तब तक ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो पाएगी। आप
हम्म
अंडरस्टैंड कि गिविंग एंड रिसीविंग इज अ साइमल्टेनियस एक्ट। यू कैन नॉट गिव इफ नोबडी इज देयर टू रिसीव। और अगर आपने ये बना के रखा है कि रिसीविंग मीन्स इट्स अ ब्लो ऑन माई सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट, so then you are doing that to the other person also, then you are blowing on their self respect.
ओके
How is it कि नहीं वो नहीं है, मैं तो गिव कर रही हूँ, उनका सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट पे ब्लो नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन कोई मेरे साथ करेगा तो मेरे सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट पे ब्लो का, ये कैसा बिलीफ सिस्टम है?
हम्म
Yeah. And you know the fascinating part is कि जब हमारे receiving channels blocked होते हैं ना, तो हम workplace में भी we work a lot, we become workaholics, and वहाँ पे भी you know receive करने में problem हो जाती है, problem होती है in fact। money, कोई भी चीज manifest करनी है, कोई भी चीज कुछ भी लाइफ में चाहिए, चाहे वो इमोशनल लेवल पे हो, फिजिकल लेवल पे हो, मेंटल लेवल पे हो, फाइनेंशियल लेवल पे हो, कोई भी रिसीविंग, इफ द रिसीविंग इज ब्लॉक, यूजुअली व्हाट इज सीन कि वो रिसीविंग ना कहीं से भी ओपन नहीं होती है। हाँ, कुछ जगह से हो सकती है बिकॉज दैट इज अ लर्न पैटर्न यू हैव इन यू, बट विद मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल, जैसे कोई हेल्प भी कर देना, कि कोई ये बोल दे कि अच्छा मैं दूध ही ला देता हूँ, तो भी ऐसा लगता है कि ओ गॉड पता नहीं कितनी हेल्प ले ली, राइट? आई डोंट वांट टेक दैट हेल्प फ्रॉम एनीबॉडी। प्लस जैसे कि अब ये इस पे मनी की अगर हम बात करते हैं, जैसे हमने लास्ट ट्रीट जब की थी, सो समबडी जस्ट टेक्स्टेड मी टुडे कि आई हैव मैनिफेस्टेड दिस मनी, जबकि हम रिट्रीट में हमने मनी पे स्पेसिफिकली कोई काम नहीं किया था। बट
हाँ
जब आप, इट्स ओनली अबाउट रिसीविंग, मनी तो सिर्फ एक फॉर्म है ना, चाहे आप उसमें रिसीव
या
करो, चाहे आप लव के फॉर्म में, किसी भी फॉर्म में, एनी फॉर्म, इट्स अबाउट वेदर यू आर रेडी टू रिसीव और नॉट। क्योंकि वो सारी चीजें तो हैं, द थिंग इज कि हमने इतने वेल्स और लेयर्स और अपने फियर्स जो होते हैं, पैटर्न्स होते हैं, वो इतने बना लेते हैं ना कि इट्स कि हमें, हम सब बोलते जरूर है कि हम चाहते हैं कि कोई हमारे लिए कुछ करे, लेकिन सबकॉन्शियसली द सिग्नल दैट वी आर गिविंग आउट इज कि नहीं यार, मेरे लिए कोई कुछ ना करे वरना मेरे को ना रिटर्न करना पड़ेगा। सो इफ यू
हाँ
कॉन्स्टेंटली गिविंग आउट दैट सिग्नल सबकॉन्शियसली कि मेरे लिए कुछ ना करे, कुछ ना करे, तो कॉन्शियसली आप कितना भी सोचते रहो कि कोई कुछ करे, इट्स नॉट गोना हैपन, बिकॉज दैट्स द थॉट वी आर पुटिंग आउट सबकॉन्शियसली 24/7। और अगर गलती से हो भी गया एक आध बार मैनिफेस्ट, it's you are just going to reject it.
yeah that's what I just realized after, like when you were speaking, that I'm a tutor, so I never ask for money from my students' parents. It is such a big like to ask them to send them a message ki, like generally tutors take money in advance, but I take at the end of the month, and that too it's sometimes 2 months when they don't give, but I never ask. And when they give or I ask, so I feel so burdened कि अब मुझे पता नहीं, though I'm putting all the efforts, but still I have to put so much of effort.
ये जो ये जो एक प्रॉब्लम है ना, ये, हाँ, स्पेशली सी दिस इज अ थिंग व्हिच आई वाज आल्सो थिंकिंग अबाउट टुडे। तो स्पेशली पीपल हु आर इन बिजनेस, So anyone who is in business over here in this group right now on the call, or whoever will be listening to this call later as well. तो रिसीविंग अगर ब्लॉक है और इस तरह से जब हम सोचते हैं तो पीपल हु आर इन बिजनेस सफर अ लॉट फ्रॉम दिस थिंकिंग. सैलरीड पीपल डोंट सफर अ लॉट फ्रॉम दिस पीपल, क्योंकि उनको पता है उनको तो बिना मांगे सैलरी अपने अकाउंट में आ जाने वाली. तो एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि भाई सैलरी तो आ जाएगी, तो मांगने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो तो आ जाएगी. लेकिन बिजनेस में हमको फॉलो अप करना पड़ता है, रिमाइंड कराना पड़ता है, ये है वो है, ये सब करना पड़ता है. बिजनेस में हम अपना काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई है जो ये कर रहा है. कोई तो अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट में बैठा है जो क्लाइंट्स को फॉलो अप करके पेमेंट का रिमाइंड कर रहा है, ये सब कर रहा है, ऑल दैट उनका वो काम है, राइट. तो उनको पता है कि ये काम की तरह हम कर रहे हैं, मेरी सैलरी नहीं रुकने वाली. अगर मैं अकाउंट्स में भी बैठा हूँ और अगर मेरे को कॉल करके क्लाइंट को रिमाइंड करना है कि आपकी पेमेंट नहीं आई है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. 1 महीने के बाद मेरी सैलरी तो आ जाएगी. तो as a salaried person, people who have this kind of block can survive. But for business people, it's a very big problem. It's one of the biggest problem. Why? Because lack of cash flow is one of the single most reason why most businesses fail. One of the single most reason, lack of cash flow. आप बहुत टैलेंटेड हो सकते हो, आपको लोग भी आ रहे हैं, बिजनेस भी आ रहा है, लेकिन आपसे पैसे ही मांगे जा रहे हैं, आपको रिमाइंड ही नहीं कराया जा रहा. तो आफ्टर अ वाइल यूर आउट ऑफ बिजनेस. कब तक सरवाइव करोगे उस सिचुएशन में? सो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स, स्मॉल बिजनेसेस फेल फॉर दिस रीजन, लैक ऑफ कैश फ्लो. नॉट लैक ऑफ बिजनेस, नॉट लैक ऑफ टैलेंट, नॉट लैक ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स और क्वालिटी और एनीथिंग, नथिंग लाइक दैट. सब बढ़िया है, बस कैश फ्लो ही नहीं, बाकी तो सब कुछ है.
Right.
So until you start to see this, you deserve this. This is your profession. You are not asking money for no reason. You've earned it. You've deserved it. You've given service. You've given them value. They've come to you. Until you see this, you earned it. You've proven your worth. You've given them the value. You've given them the results that they want. And this is your profession. ये आपकी हॉबी नहीं है कि आ गए पैसे तो आ गए, नहीं आए तो नहीं आए, कहीं और से तो आ ही जाएंगे. And all that. No, people are relying for their bread and butter on this thing. You have to pay bills. So businesses who are not able to see this, business owners who are not able to see this and have this receiving block, survive नहीं कर पाते, unfortunately. So being in business, ये तो आपके लिए और भी ज्यादा important है to look into this thing.
Right. I need to.
Yes, Viresh.
So, Akarma, I've been listening to this conversation. I feel I connect to a lot of things you told, and definitely, I see this pattern in me also. So currently, we are a couple of people. We are running a small business, and this is a pattern I see myself. And so my natural instinct is to. I am slightly afraid of money also because of this, because I find it difficult to ask, like, क्लाइंट को सर्विस दे दिया है, प्रोजेक्ट का जो है हमने करके दिया है, but when it comes to like actually putting put down, see this, we are delivered, like can we close the payment and all, I'm not very assertive, and in that sense, even that conversation I try to make it from a very sort of not a very we are delivered what we have done, so that the conversation is not natural, doesn't feel natural to me. So what should I do for this? I do recognize this blockage in me.
So like we said that this is the receiving part. The receiving of anything is a feminine energy. And as we have explained multiple times that uh, everyone, male, female, we all have feminine and masculine energy combination. So it's nothing to do with women or men. So feminine giving is masculine, receiving is feminine, and you can correlate this in terms of biology also. You see how the female body is and how the male body is. So female receives, male gives, like that. So receiving is feminine energy. If it is not there, that means you need to work on the feminine side of you. अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो शक्ति एलिमेंट रिट्रीट तो अभी हम सिर्फ वुमेन के लिए ही करते हैं तो it is actually the content is equally relevant for men also. There is nothing that is not, but हमारा उतना ग्रुप बनता ही नहीं तो we don't have as many men expressing interest in this तो इसलिए हम उसमें अपनी एनर्जी अभी लगाते नहीं to build a batch for men. So that is why we are not doing it. तो अब you have to look into this. ये एनर्जेटिक ब्लॉक्स हैं इनका ये ई लर्निंग जर्नी से तो नहीं जाने वाले एज आई हैव मेंशन्ड अर्लियर इन कॉन्वर्सेशंस की वी हैव टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ब्लॉक्स माइंड ब्लॉक्स एंड एनर्जी ब्लॉक्स ई लर्निंग जर्नीज आर मोर गियर्ड टुवर्ड्स द माइंड ब्लॉक्स कंडीशनिंग थॉट प्रोसेस ट्रॉमास इमोशनल कहाँ से आ रहा है कैसे बिल्ड हुआ है अटैचमेंट स्टाइल्स इनर वुंड्स मदर वुंड्स फादर वुंड्स ये सारी चीजों को हम माइंड ब्लॉक्स मान के चलते हैं और उसके लिए ई लर्निंग जर्नीज है बट एनर्जेटिक ब्लॉक्स रिलेटेड टू मैस्कुलिन एंड फेमिनिन एनर्जी उसके लिए कोई ई लर्निंग जर्नी नहीं है दे आर एनर्जी वर्क सो फॉर दैट रीजन वी क्रिएटेड शक्ति एलिमेंट रिट्रीट फॉर विमेन जहाँ पे सिर्फ एनर्जी हीलिंग वर्क होता है फॉर दिस एज अनामिका वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट की in the last batch that we did in Feb. So one of the participants, she came, did the part on it, and she just sent a message yesterday only that since retreat, she has been seeing money flowing in her account from unexpected sources. So unexpected in the sense that maybe she was expecting it and all that, but शायद she would have given up कि यहाँ से कभी आएगा. तो opening up that channel of receiving, she start to see and she was like gracious enough to inform us about it. WhatsApp पे उसने अनामिका को पर्सनल मैसेज लिखा था कि that's what's been happening. तो as we are saying कि receiving open होती है तो all sorts of receiving open होती है. It's not nothing to do. Then love भी flow होने लगता है, money भी flow होने लगता है. abundance flow होने लगता है it's like that so अब for men right now we don't have this retreat the either you can look for an energy healer for yourself or you can approach Anamika she is the energy healer and she can work with you on this पर अभी के लिए तो that's the only option that we have so you would have to do a one-on-one work only with an energy healer so either you can find someone yourself or you can approach her.
Sure. Thanks, Akarma. Thank you.
Cool. Sanyogita, you had your hand up. You wanted to say something? Okay, I'm not sure if Sanyogita is there. Cool. Anybody else? Yeah, Seema, you want to say something?
But since Yogita is there,
Sorry, no. It was by mistake. It was by mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
yeah. So when Payal was sharing her experience, I was listening to her, and when I was not able to like receive. So any person, a normal person or a person in a relationship, friendship, I used to feel so compelled and obliged that if this person is going to help, then I have to do something for them. And with this fear in me, I used to receive it. I used to receive it, but then it used to never work. So it used to either be like some misunderstanding or something used to happen. But maybe I didn't have that great energy blocks, but when I healed my little healing, whatever I could do from attachment style and e-learnings. So now I think I'm at a place of receiving because when I approach to somebody, I understand that I'm asking for a help. It doesn't mean that this person is going to hit on me, this person I have to return something. So I'm very clear with my intention. So I've seen this big change in me, that earlier I used to be like so afraid. Mostly it was because I used to feel because in my bad abusive marriage, I was like, whenever I asked for help from him, it was given, but it was given in a way that I was totally in, you can say, in my self-esteem and self-respect was destroyed. So after that, it became so difficult to ask help from people. Even if I'm like going so down, I will not ask. But now when I feel a little low, I buzz all my friends I have, and I'll actually tell them that, hey, I'm not feeling all right, please help me out. So it's like such a beautiful change when you start receiving and you don't feel obliged. And I think I shared with you and Akarma personally also that being a Reiki healer, I was not able to, because I was not open in receiving. So I was not able to heal people after a while because मुझे ये लगने लगा यार, why should I ask for this? But if I should see it as a profession, then definitely I'm giving my valuable service to them and they're paying to me. So that's it. But when you are not open, then you are not able to receive. So now when I approach people, for whatever reasons, my intention is very clear and there is no fear that, oh, this person is going to ask me something. This, if I'm able to provide a help, I do it. But if I'm not, then I'll very politely tell them that yes. And I think it works. It's pretty all right if you're not able to provide somebody with the help also. And so, yeah, this is what I wanted to share.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Seema. Yeah. It makes a big difference. Yeah, it does. Cool. Okay, then, guys. It was a wonderful conversation. It's 9:20, so let's wrap up today's call. And then we'll be connected in the group. You can post your questions or share your experiences there. And we'll see you next Friday. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
Karma. Thank you,
Thank you,
Namika, for
Seema.
your time and
Thanks
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
yeah.
Thank
Good
you
night.
so much.
Bye.